Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So it's been a very wild week on Twitch to say the least. So the other day, Twitch announced that they're allowing certain forms of sexual content onto their platform. This is what everyone's been talking about over the past day or two. Now to hit you with the main finding of this video, and we'll get into the details afterwards. After all the chaos and the bans that have ensued over the past couple of days since these updates were rolled out, Twitch announced this morning that they are reverting everything. All of those updates to their sexual content policies have been reverted to the status quo that they were only a few days ago. This has been a very confusing saga, and today we're going to go through all the details. Now, how did we get here? Really quick. Over the past couple of days, things like Twitch TOS and artistic nudity have been trending nonstop because terms like artistic nudity were relevant because this sort of thing was briefly allowed on Twitch, and it left many people confused as to what that even means in the first place. But on December 13th, so 2 days ago, Twitch announced that they're allowing certain forms of sexual content, including some forms of nudity, onto their platform. This took a lot of people by surprise, and it became like the Wild West, where people were trying to interpret these rules and see how far they could push the boundaries before getting banned. And spoiler alert, a lot of people got banned. Now, some people, I think, rightfully interpreted those updated policies to the point where it seems like you were able to draw nude fictional content if you were an artist. So VTubers like sexuaI saw the updates to the TOS and had streams where they were drawing characters that were naked. And like I said, I think they were rightfully interpreting these new updates to the TOS. It seemed like that was something that was allowed. Well, it turns out they would all get banned for doing that anyways. But the main person everyone was talking about over the past 24 hours was Marina VT. This is a VTuber we have talked about in the past. Her name has been trending nonstop over the past 24 hours, and for all of the wrong reasons. Now, we've talked about Marina before. Some of her greatest hits include things like being a supporter of the Hogwarts Legacy harassment campaign, slandering other VTubers, and it seems like every person who gets close to her eventually comes out with horror stories about her behavior. Well, she was being talked about by many people thanks to her stream. So when Marina found out and wrongfully assumed that based on the new TOS, she could do naked streams, she went onto Twitch, a 13 plus platform by the way, and did a full nude cam show. On the side, she was playing pictures of her nude artwork. In the center, she had her model topless, and on the side of that, she had her full model head to toe naked. And despite the fact that people in her chat were telling her this was breaking TOS, Marina would smugly mock them and tell them that they were ignorant and wrong, and would go as far as to say a lot of content creators are stupid. Let's have a listen.
So I think some people here, I'm going to put this as nicely as possible. Not every streamer is very smart. Some are geniuses. Some, are great. But I think some people either A, don't read the TOS themselves and they just look at other people posting misinformation, or they just don't think things through. And it's very explicit about the things that you can show and you can't show, right?
My apologies to your brain cells for having to go through that, but as it turns out, shocking I know, Marina was wrong. Her interpretation of those updated terms of service did not permit her to have a fully nude cam show with her VTuber model. And as users like this had pointed out, VTuber models are treated under the same dress code as IRL streamers. And for example, IRL streamers, when they're face camming, they can't show things like underboob. So it's hardly surprising that Marina would get banned for showing her model fully naked as well as naked art on the side. And this is definitely reaping what you sow. She pushed the boundaries of the TOS for attention, and the attention she got. A lot of people were very upset with her content and also celebrated her ban because they thought she got exactly what she was asking for. Well, a lot of people were also raising concerns that what she did put potentially children in danger, because Twitch, after all, is a 13 plus platform. And when Marina found out that she might have the ability to do nude cam shows, she immediately did it. And there was no proper safeguards in place to prevent the average 13-year-old Twitch viewer from coming across streams like hers. Now, as it turns out, that was where we were yesterday in that video. Here's some of the new stuff that has unfolded over the past 24 hours since then. So actually, it turns out one of her fellow VT Rainbow members named Lennox here had some things to say about Marina's behavior in the past, because it seems like Marina has had a very hard time keeping children out of her community, which is a very disturbing discovery if true. So Lennox here used to be a member of Marina's VT Rainbow group, and she is no longer a member of this group, this Lennox person. But here's what she had to say. Her group's Discord, VT Rainbow, wasn't age restricted at all. I was shocked to be single-handedly moderating a bunch of kids when her space is clearly adult, as is most of her ex group. It was me who pushed for it to be 18 plus. Considering recent events, this only adds further concern. So if you didn't get the memo, it's pretty obvious that Marina's content is highly sexualized. Okay, it's basically everything that she uploads onto every platform. It's all sexual content, and it's pretty shocking to learn that her VTuber group did not have any sort of age safeguards in place for their Discord server. Anyone could have joined regardless of their age until Lennox and other people pushed for an 18 plus requirement to join the server. That is crazy. And it's obvious that she was doing this to push for Discord partner, and she wanted as many people in her server as possible, even if that meant exposing children to the sexual content that is hosted there. And VT Rainbow, by the way, over the past couple of months has imploded, and I'm not even sure if it's around anymore, but that was what was happening, according to Lennox here, only a short while ago. But also, there were some other funny developments to come out of this situation. So I noticed some infighting. It's pretty funny. Basically, everyone is turned on Marina in this situation, including some familiar faces like this. So this VTuber here says, it was infuriating to see someone display an incredible lack of professionalism yesterday by flouting the new guidelines in the most extreme way possible. And it's going to be even more infuriating to see her come back 3,000 followers the richer for it. But that's the Twitch meta. Now, you might recognize this VTuber because they were another member of the Hogwarts Legacy harassment campaign. I remember playing this video back in February of this year. In this video, this VTuber said that people who play the game should be harassed, and if they do get harassed, they should just get over it because, you know, they committed the sin of playing a video game. But it was just funny to see these people now infighting. I guess it's a heartwarming thing to see. But nonetheless, Marina wasn't the only person who got banned. We had people like sexuaI get banned as well. The difference being, though, that sexuaI and other artists were following the updated TOS. They were seeing these new rules, and they were actually following them, but they still got banned, just like people like Marina, who were openly violating the updated TOS. We also saw examples like this. So just to give you an idea, I mean, this is what she was doing. She was drawing on stream and following these new guidelines that made it pretty clear you could draw nudity featuring fictional characters if you're making art. But her and other artists like sexuaI got banned, and we saw a lot of furry artists get banned as well. They're going crazy, and that's hardly surprising that there was such a reaction. But other artists got more than just a ban. They got a reason for it. Now, this is something that this artist and a lot of other artists have been hit with, and it's a reason stating that their content is youth risky. Now, here's an example of this artist's work. It's nothing crazy. It's your standard anime-styled artwork, but they weren't the only one to get this label. And you might recognize this VTuber, Annie. She's very popular. She was making artwork on stream featuring nudity as well and got banned as well and got the same reason. It seems like people like Annie and everyone else are getting these bans because there were multiple actors who were encouraging their followers to mass report anyone making not safe for work content on the art tag or the art tab on Twitch, and these people got mass flagged and banned. But here's the reason. This is wild. So she's suspended for a full week, and they give the reason youth risky. Let's read this. It says, "We have removed your content as it includes elements that could put you or someone else at risk. This includes content that could encourage inappropriate attention towards people under 18. Do you know what that's supposed to mean? I have no idea. At this point, it almost seems like entrapment. So they told these artists that you can draw nude fictional characters. They go and do that, and then they get banned, and they're told that their content is exposing children to adult things. Well, that's the fault of Twitch for not putting in the proper safety measures to prevent them from seeing that. But also, it's like you're the one allowing children on this platform while at least temporarily allowing nudity and things like that. So you basically set these artists up to get banned, and it was all Twitch's fault for allowing this stuff in the first place. If they didn't want it, why did they allow it? At least for a temporary amount of time. It's very strange. But as a lot of users like this have pointed out, this whole thing was very strange, and the application of these updated TOS was being applied very unfairly. It seemed like they were taking it out on artists despite giving them new freedoms and treating VTubers in a different way. Like the rules apply differently to VTubers than they do live cammers. And it all circles back to why we're talking about this in the first place. It's because OnlyFans girls were taking advantage of the Twitch meta and were doing topless streams. And instead of banning the 5 people who did that, they try to completely rework the entire TOS of the website to permit that sort of stuff. And it's having a very strange effect. But as it turns out this morning, Twitch dropped this bombshell right here, reverting everything. They have scaled back everything. They decided that what was going on was too much and that they have reverted all of the updates they had made only 24 hours ago. What an absolute mess, but let's read their message that came with this tweet. It says, "So effective today, we are rolling back the artistic nudity changes. Moving forward, depictions of real or fictional nudity won't be allowed on Twitch, regardless of the medium. This restriction does not apply to mature rated games," which that's actually a pretty good thing. "You can find emote-specific standards for nudity and sexual content in the emote guidelines. We aren't making other policy changes to the updated sexual content policy. We are in the process of pushing out updates to our community guidelines that reflect this change. It will take a few days for both this blog and for the new community guidelines to be translated. While I wish we could have predicted this outcome, part of our job is to make adjustments that serve the community. I apologize for the confusion that this update has caused." That last part is very strange. It gets very personal for some reason. Why are they saying I instead of referring to the company Twitch itself? It's very strange, but like they're acting like they're shocked by everything that happened. This was the least shocking outcome. We knew this would be an absolute mess, and I'm sure advertisers were not happy to see this stuff. And it's crazy to roll out these changes and go back on them so quick. What a mess. And people pointing this out. What a strange series of events. So you have the status quo that existed for all the time leading up until a day ago where nudity was not allowed. All of a sudden now they allow certain forms of nudity. Then they ban certain content creators like artists who were properly interpreting these updated terms of service. And then they turn around a day later and ban nudity again. How confusing. But as you might have guessed, with the changes came unbans, including this right here. Marina has been unbanned after 1 day. She did a full nude cam stream and got banned for 1 day. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is crazy. So she would make a series of update tweets regarding this ban and the whole situation, and people were not having it. As you can see, she would eventually lock the replies, and she's blocking anyone who quote retweets it, by the way. But she said, "Just woke up a little while ago and went to sleep right before Twitch issued a 1-day ban. I appreciate all the people who have reached out and checked in. I don't think I've ever woken up to so many DMs." Unfortunately, they're trying to spin this narrative like everyone's loving and supporting them. She is arguably the most hated person in the VTubing scene right now. People are very pissed off. And we'll get into more details about this later, but a lot of people are directly blaming Marina for the rollback on some of these changes. Artists are very pissed off at Marina because they believe she's the reason these rollbacks happened, and now they can't draw not safe for work content on Twitch. They only got a taste of it for a day, and because of people like Marina pushing the boundaries, it's gone now, and they likely will never get that power back. But moving forward, here's their statement saying, I was issued a 1-day ban, and it was for my model itself in the middle of the screen having inappropriate attire and not the nude art on the sides. The nude art on the sides was within TOS. Well, it is no longer, by the way. That is not in TOS anymore. But they go on to basically say all these things, trying to basically give the impression that they did nothing wrong. Pretty crazy stuff. They definitely deserve the ban. I don't know what they're trying to say here. But this is interesting right here. So they say, I know people have expressed discomfort with the new TOS changes and allowance of nudity. I feel that Twitch needs to allow people the same control offered on other sites that are not strictly 18 plus like Reddit. People should be able to opt out of seeing sexual content completely. I believe all users should have to verify age to even see streams and thumbnails that have content warnings. Otherwise, they should be hidden full stop. As of right now, all creators can do is label responsibly. The rest is up to Twitch. So basically, Marina's trying to say that it's Twitch's fault for, potentially children seeing adult content. But she knew that these boundaries were not in place when she went live with her cam stream. So she knew these risks and did it anyways. She doesn't care if someone accidentally came across her content regardless of their age. And now she's trying to pretend like it's Twitch's fault exclusively for her content being shown potentially to minors. This is a cop-out. She's trying to shift blame, and she knows exactly what she was doing when she went live with that explicit content. Now, people in the replies were not having this set of excuses. This user replying saying, not only did you test boundaries, you had your mods ban people who warned you. Also, you can get more followers. I'm ashamed of your actions and hope that you realize how much you could have ruined everything for artists. But then again, based off of this, you only care about yourself. And obviously, this whole thing is about herself. She wanted attention, and attention she got. Here's another reply ratioing her in her own reply section saying, please stop acting like you were doing this for something righteous. You were bragging on stream about your numbers and banning people trying to warn you about what you were doing. The person who started this was doing it to prove a point. You, on the other hand, did it for clout. Now, moving forward, a lot of other people would get unbanned, like Sorry, for example. And I think this right here highlights the chaos that's been happening with artists. So you might know the popular artist Pixon. So they were banned and unbanned in a time space of an hour and 30 minutes. That's how crazy this is. They basically got banned right before the reverts to the changes came out. So it was a very quick cycle of their ban. But here's one thing that did not get unbanned, and that is the suspension that Annie is facing. In fact, Twitch has emailed Annie and confirmed her suspension for a week under that youth risky policy. Explain to me how Annie, rightfully interpreting those updated terms of service, making art on stream, deserves a week ban. But Marina, who violated the updated terms, gets a 1-day ban. Please explain to me how Annie gets the stricter punishment in this situation. It makes absolutely no sense, and it's very frustrating to see. And also, the mass flagging and mass reports is clearly working, and Twitch is doing nothing to correct them. But yeah, this situation, an absolute mess, by the way. If you haven't figured it out already, this whole situation has made Twitch look very, very stupid, and it has caused a lot of problems, and really, it's hurting the income of a lot of streamers who are still banned, or at least were temporarily banned, and the bad actors are getting away with it, and that's the worst part of this. But anyways, I know a lot of topics here, a lot of controversial topics, so as always, feel free to share your thoughts about them in the comments section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.